Hello everybody and welcome back for the new VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today we have some amazing stories to go over, including 3 new headsets from HTC, Boneworks finally getting those updates we've been waiting for, a patent for a new Sony PlayStation VR controller, and a VR game actually making it into Steam's top 20 selling titles of January. If you guys end up enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Okay guys, let's get into this. So first up in the game news, a new update to No Man's Sky has added living ships. And that is exactly what it sounds like. There are now biological ships flying out in space in the world of No Man's Sky. But more importantly, this update also brings with it VR improvements. Improvements have been made to the swimming controls, there are multiple UI fixes, and rendering optimizations for the PlayStation VR. A link to all of the updates can be found in the description. Another game to receive some excellent updates this week was Boneworks. The highly anticipated mid-level save feature has now been added into the game, alongside with a new arena challenge mode known as Brawl. Now I've actually covered Brawl in a previous video. It basically allows you to select up to 3 different enemies and create a mosh pit of destruction. It just gives you a little bit more control over which enemies you're going to be fighting, and it's currently my go-to arena mode whenever I want to show off the game. Boneworks also just released on the Oculus Store, and they've actually recreated the Oculus Tuscany demo as a new sandbox level. If you're not familiar with this demo, it was used in the earliest Rift days to actually show off the potential of VR and just simply prove that it is a worthy platform. So this is basically a nice little nod from Stress Level 0. So next up, I always like to include a free game in the new VR news, and releasing on Tuesday, February 25th on Steam is Jar Wars. This is a slapstick PvP shooter with up to 4 players. There are multiple game modes, some pretty ridiculous looking weapons, and overall the game looks like a blast. The game will be available for all PC VR headsets, and like I said, it's free. So go ahead and wishlist it on Steam right now. Moving into the software news, if you go check out Steam's top selling games of January, you will notice that The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is on that list. Now the overall competition in January was not that fierce, and we didn't really see any high-end AAA title releases. But at the same time, for a VR title to make it on that list, it has to sell pretty darn well, because it is competing against all other game titles, and only a small fraction of Steam users actually own VR equipment. So congrats to Skydance Interactive. Moving into the hardware news, a patent from Sony appears to be a new VR controller. In many ways, the controller looks similar to the Valve Index controllers, as it will track every finger. Now, just because a patent has been filed doesn't mean we will ever see this product, or that if this product is made, it will look remotely like the sample we have here. It is interesting nonetheless to see that Sony does find it important to track all 5 fingers in VR. A topic that always comes up when discussing the Valve Index controllers. While I do love the controllers, and they are my preferred VR input method, I think they are highly underutilized, and it's hard for me to come up with a perfect scenario for full finger tracking. Yes, it's pretty darn cool, but is it really needed? Now, I'm just personally hoping that this will eventually lead into more PlayStation VR 2 news, because I'm really curious to see what Sony comes up with for VR and the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation VR has some amazing titles, but I passed on it due to the fact that the hardware is just very low end. I don't think Sony will make the same mistake with the PlayStation 2. So last up in the VR news, we have to go over HTC's continued questionable decisions. Do we truly need 3 different Vive Cosmos headsets? So let me break down the new Vive Cosmos lineup for you guys, so we just have a full understanding of how this doesn't really make any sense. Now, the Vive Cosmos itself is actually a modular device, and the faceplate can be changed. That is the major difference between the 3 headsets they are selling. The lowest end model will be the Cosmos Play. Now, this will be their entry-level product, something set to compete with the Rift S. Now, at one point in time, HTC said that this model was going to cost $500, but the price has been removed and no firm price is officially set just yet. Now, the Cosmos Play comes with less tracking cameras and no headphones. The inside-out tracking found on the current Vive Cosmos is the industry's worst tracking system. Even after multiple updates, Windows Mixed Reality still outperforms the Vive Cosmos when it comes to tracking. So this really raises some serious concerns for the Cosmos Play. So if it comes in around that $500 price tag, it really cannot compete with the Rift S. I've detailed all the shortcomings of the Cosmos in a previous video, as I did own one for a few short weeks, and it was my worst VR experience to date. So the Cosmos Play is a low-end product that can't compete with what is already on the market. Now, the middle of the pack is the current Vive Cosmos, and if it had a better inside-out tracking system and a price tag lower than $700, then it would be an okay option. If you didn't want to support Facebook, or you didn't want to spend $1,000 on a Valve Index, then a Cosmos could have been a decent option, because the audio and video fidelity of the Vive Cosmos is actually pretty good. I did have trouble finding and staying in the sweet spot of the headset, and after being accustomed to the higher FOV of the Valve Index, I did feel a little bit like I was using binoculars, but compared to a first generation VR system, it is definitely a significant upgrade. Now, the highest end version of the Cosmos is the Cosmos Elite, and that will come with the new Steam VR faceplate tracking system. So you will be using base station tracking, but the price tag suddenly jumps up to $900, and what you get for $900 just doesn't compare to what is out there right now. So for $900, you are actually getting the first generation Vive base stations, a pair of Vive wands, and the Cosmos with the VR tracking faceplate. Now, the upgrade to the base stations isn't huge and won't impact the general consumer. However, they do accommodate larger play spaces now. You can use multiple headsets with one set of 2.0 trackers, but ultimately performance is the same. Now, comparing the Vive wands to the Index controllers, on the other hand, is night and day. The Vive wands are easily my least favorite VR controller. For years, the wands prevented me from playing any free locomotion titles. And while the Cosmos headset itself is okay, it just doesn't compare to the Valve Index. So you end up paying just about as much as the Valve Index and not getting nearly as much in return. Now, if HTC really understood their market, wanted to impress us, the Cosmos Elite package would be as follows: the Cosmos with the new faceplate, Steam VR tracked versions of their Cosmos controllers. While those controllers were a bit bulky and heavy, they are a huge step up from the Vive wands. Next, include the wireless adapter. This is the one thing that HTC has over the other companies. Integrate it directly into the faceplate and sell that entire package for $1,000. You now have a product that actually delivers more than anybody else. Even at $1,100, I believe that is a solid product, one that I would consider buying. Instead, HTC revealed Project Proton, which I don't even care to mention. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, leave your comments below, let me know what your headset of choice is. Obviously, you know mine is not the HTC Vive Cosmos. Okay guys, I'll see you on next time.